At the most basic level, a missionary is someone who has been sent. That's what the word mission means in its root. It may not appear in your English Bibles. At least it's on the ESV. I don't think it's in the King James or the NIV. You won't find the word mission or missions or missionary. And yet, it is a biblical word. Let me give you a quote from probably the world's leading scholar on mission in the New Testament. He was a professor at Trinity Evangelical Divinity School. Now he's at Gordon Conwell. Eckhard Schnabel. It's a good name. So you're going to hear the word Schnabel a few times this morning. He has, I meant to bring them out, but he has volume 1 this big on Christian mission. Then he has volume 2 this big on Christian mission. Then he has a volume this big on Paul and mission. So he has 2,500 pages on this. Here's what he says about the word mission. The argument that the word mission does not occur in the New Testament is incorrect. For the Latin verb, mittere, corresponds to the Greek verb apostolane, like the word apostle. Apostolane occurs 136 times in the New Testament, 97 times in the Gospels, used both for Jesus having been sent by God and for the 12 disciples being sent by Jesus. So he's arguing, yes, in a way, mission is all over the place in the New Testament because that word simply means the same thing as the Greek word, apostolane, to be sent. The apostles, in the broadest sense, are those who have been sent out. And this sent outness is also the first thing to note about these people we call missionaries. It is, after all, if you know your Bibles, you'll remember it's the first thing Jesus declares about his own mission in Luke chapter 4 when he's in the synagogue. He reads from Isaiah 61, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me," and it says, "He has sent me to proclaim good news to the poor." That's how Jesus understood his mission. First of all, before any of us are sent, Jesus is sent. The mission in the world is ultimately the mission of the Father having sent the Son. He was sent. So being on mission or engaged in mission suggests intentionality and movement. Missionaries are those persons who have been sent with a task from one place that they might fulfill it in another. Every Christian, if we're going to be obedient to the Great Commission, must be involved in missions. But not every Christian is a missionary. Now, I know there are very well-meaning people who would argue that we're all missionaries because we all bear witness to Christ and we all have a work from God. And I want to affirm all of that. And yet I think there is good reason to reserve this term for those specifically sent. It's certainly true we should all be ready to give an answer for the hope that we have. We should all adorn the gospel with our good works. We should all do our part to make Christ known. And yet I think we should reserve the term missionary for those who are intentionally sent from one place to another. It's important to remember that the church, by definition, the Greek word for church, ekklesia, ekkaleo, called out of. The church, by definition, is the assembly of the called out ones. Our first identity are as those called out from darkness, Peter says, into God's marvelous light. Not, first of all, as those who are sent. Missionaries are those unique persons called by God, sent by the church to go out and further the mission where it has not yet been established.